All right, we are going to go through how to submit or create a file for whether it's a listing or a buyer. So we're going to create a file, i.e. opportunity, whether we have a listing or a buyer. So I usually like to say as soon as we get them under an agreement, whether it's a listing agreement or a buyer agency, it's easiest to go ahead and create an opportunity file. That way you can start moving along in the transaction. In addition, it also helps with some of your, if you're tracking your numbers through GCI and everything. So the first things first, we first want to put our client into contacts. So if you click on this red KW, this will help you see what everything is on the left hand side. The first option here is contacts. So I'm going to go ahead and add a contact because this person is not in my database yet. Okay, and then I'm going to put their email address. Okay, and then a cell phone if I have one. I'm the owner. And then we can go ahead and add more information if we'd like. Address, okay, and then we're going to hit create. Okay, now that we have the contact in the system, we're going to actually go down to opportunities, and we're going to click on the button create opportunity, and I'm going to say this is going to be a listing. So I'm going to select the opportunity type. It automatically defaults to listing. I'm the owner of this record, and under client, that's where I'm going to put in the contact that I just made. Okay, and if there was a co-seller, that would show up from your contact that you placed. Okay, obviously we don't have an estimated closing date because we're listing this home now. So I'm just going to put an estimated list price of $245 with the 3% commission rate, the side that I'm getting. And right now I'm going to call this in the active stage. And we're just in the staging period. Right now we're getting ready to put it on the MLS, showing meaning that it's active on the MLS, so able to be shown. Of course, negotiations is under contract, and then legacy is something from .loop. So I now have it in the staging phase. I'm actually going to hit create, and basically this created my entire file for this listing. Now, because it's a listing and I've already put it in the MLS, once it's active in the MLS, it takes about a few hours for it to show up in the KWLS. So you're going to want to hit select from listings. Do all listings here, and then go ahead and type in the address for PA 17402. Hit select. Okay, and notice it populated the property information and everything else down here. My seller's profile, John is not registered with my consumer app yet, but once he does get connected and I send him an invite, he will get, this will update. Okay, so next, let's go to the next stage here. So in documents, this is very important. Please make sure to pick a checklist type, because that's what's going to tell you what documents you need from the office for compliance. So you'll want to pick a checklist type, and it's going to give you residential, commercial, or new build. So I'm going to select residential, and notice it started to populate. There's only a few required forms. When it's listed, all you're going to need is your consumer notice, listing agreement, cost sheet, property disclosure, and wire fraud disclosure. Once you click on under contract, it's going to populate a new one. So you're going to need your ratified agreement of sale, your cost sheet, an updated cost sheet, seller's property disclosure that's now signed by the buyer, and your co-broke if it's outside broke. Okay, so be sure to to pay attention to those items there on the left. Do not make custom folders because we won't be able to see them. So I hope that was helpful. The next thing, if we're going to use DocuSign, we're going to go ahead and click on Start a Transaction to get our forms. You can choose DocuSign. Okay, it's going to open up into DocuSign. Frank Drive, and there you go. So now when you're in DocuSign, you can go from there. But look at the next video for DocuSign training.